Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. We are back again for another show, and it's going to be fun, right, Sid?
It is going to be great fun today.
It's going to be great fun. My name is Bruce Lee. My co-host, Sid Roeder, here is sitting right next to me, which she usually doesn't do. She's usually across the way.
Yes, I usually try to stay away from you.
So I promise all the listeners that if she does something, I will poke her, and you'll hear her go, oh! That probably won't happen.
That would have consequences.
That would have consequences. You can see that on the YouTube video. Maybe not. But we're going to do something different today. We're going to do something fun. We're going to have our producer, Eric Frandsen, who's a VIP with the media group here. He is the VP of programming. And so you've heard his voice before, maybe on a sports show. But Eric, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here.
It feels weird being the one interviewed. I'm usually somebody who interviews others, but
if it's any consolation, he looks weird too. But since for radio, it doesn't matter. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsor.
Absolutely. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, and really anybody who cares. And if you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you would like us to switch up things a little bit, like we're interviewing Eric today, if you have suggestions for guests to invite, call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you, Sid. So we thought this would be fun because not everybody gets the opportunity to come down and be in a radio studio and go through an interview process or know what that's like. And so we thought that we would invite Eric to come on and talk about what those things are like and maybe some of the things that the media group does down here. The name of the company is Cache Valley Media Group. But even before that, let's talk a little bit about Eric and his family. So Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how you and your family got involved with radio.
Well, I'm going to go back to my dad. I'm going to start with him. He started in radio when he was in high school. Always thought it would be cool to be a radio DJ. When he grew up on a farm in southeast Idaho, and started working for a radio station in Blackfoot, Idaho, and started as an announcer, then got into sales, and started doing more with sales, and got a job in Sun Valley with this little radio station there. Got married. Young family, in early 20s, that station that he had worked for in Sun Valley went bankrupt, basically went off the air. And so he convinced enough people, and my mom, they circulated a petition around the community to get the FCC to allow the station to be reinstated. And as a young guy in his mid-20s who didn't know any better, he was able to convince enough people to get the station back on the air. And so he was running his own radio station at 25 years old in Sun Valley, Idaho, doing high school sports at night, turning the station on in the morning, doing sales through the day, and basically doing everything, including a little bit of engineering. And so that's where our family started in that area. And then in 1979, had the opportunity to purchase a station in Logan, KBLW, from Glacus Merrill and his family. And I know Glacus and Merrill and his family has deep roots here in Cache Valley, and we moved here to take that over, and it's just as a single station, AM and FM, and that's where it all began. And over time, as rules changed with the FCC, was able to acquire different stations and consolidate some things into what we are today. So
I'm a little
history.
I'm a little curious. Growing up with your dad's passion for radio, did you always share this passion?
That's fair question, and the quick answer to that is no. I grew up, in the radio station, coming down here, vacuuming the floors, mowing the lawns,
all the glory jobs,
cleaning the bathrooms, and changing light bulbs. And I thought, this isn't fun. Why do I want to do this? But really, it wasn't until I was in college. Decided, I'll take a communications class. I should know that stuff. I could probably take an easy class there, and I started to realize I know more than I realize, and this is actually pretty fun. And so it parlayed into other classes and other hands-on experiences and internships, and I've never left it since then.
So you've recorded, I know you host shows. I don't know how many shows you've hosted. You have, tell us about some of those things.
Yeah, so I co-host a show every afternoon on one of our stations called 106.9 The Fan. It's a sports talk show called the Full Court Press. Been doing that for almost 20 years. I've been involved with our coverage of the Utah State Aggies with some things that we do before the games or after the games on our radio stations, on KVNU, on this station. So that's primarily what I've done, and been involved with that for almost 20 years, a little more than 20 years actually.
So are all of your family members somewhat involved with the radio show? I mean, the radio show, the radio business, or how did that turn out for other members?
Yeah, I mean, my dad is still, I mean, he's in his late 70s and he's still very active. I mean, he was here full time every day this week. I have a brother who is our vice president of sales. And is very much involved with our sales and marketing department. I have an older sister who helps out with a lot of our accounting and legal, making sure we have things filed properly with different things and insurance and all the HR stuff that I don't want to deal with, and she is able to handle that. And so, yeah, there's still very much a strong family element to what we do here and what we do, but we consider a lot of employees here have been here for a long time, so we feel like there's a lot of family here, even though we're not related.
How many people do work here?
Between full-time and part-time, we're probably pushing 50 employees.
I'm just curious if somebody like me, before I came and Bruce and I started this thing, I had never been in a radio studio before. Do you ever open your doors to the public and people can come in and look at the studios?
You know, I was actually joking with somebody the other day. There were changes with the scouting program a few years ago. It used to be every January and February I was giving tours to scout groups like almost every Tuesday night for 2 months. And so we'd always have people through here. But that's changed over the last few years, and we don't have very many tours anymore. But we're more than happy to have people come down and show them around and illustrate what we do and how it works. So, from time to time we do have people who come down. And we still have groups who come through and want to see how it works and put their, see how they do in front of a microphone and play DJ for a second. So, yeah, it's kind of fun to do that.
So what would be a phone number someone would call to set up a tour?
Good question. I'd just encourage them to call our front office, 435-752-1390. That's 1390.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. We're already up on our first break here. Again, I would like to mention our sponsor, which is the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com. We're visiting today with Eric Frandsen. He's the Vice President of Programming at Cash Media Group. We're going to take a little break, but we'll be right back.
If you're retired or plan to retire soon, will you outlive your money or will your money outlive you? If you don't know the answer, I can help. Hi, I'm Patty Bartholomew, a financial consultant with Parsonex Securities. If you have questions about your financial plan or just need a second opinion, call me today at 435-227-5556.
Investments are not FDIC insured, nor are they deposits of or guaranteed by a bank or any other entity, so they may lose value. Investors should carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the funds. This and other important information is contained in each fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, which can be obtained from a financial professional and should be read carefully before investing. Securities offered through Parsonex Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 8310 South Valley Highway, Suite 110, Inglewood, Colorado, 80112-303-662-8700.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Rot,
Seems like yesterday I was playing with my kids on the playground.
Seems like yesterday I was building a treehouse in the backyard.
Time goes by too fast, but there is something you can do to ensure you're taken care of down the road. I'm Tracy Ferris with Quality First Insurance. A long-term care insurance policy is something we all need as we get older. If you wait until you need it, you're too late. Let me help you understand the options and benefits of long-term care insurance. Call me today, 435-752-0101.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG and they will take care of you.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you are just joining us today, we have the pleasure of talking with our producer, Eric Frandsen. He is the Vice President of Programming here at the Cache Valley Media Group, which includes KVNU and many other stations. You're listening to us on KVNU. And we were talking during the break a little bit about how the radio can serve the community. And there's lots of ways that the radio serves the community. Right, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, we are under mandate from the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, that federal bureaucracy that oversees broadcasting. You know, we're under a mandate to have a certain level of responsibility to serve our community, which is great. We love that. The biggest part of that is if there's a natural disaster, earthquake, tornado, whatever, some big event, we have to do everything we can to make sure that our stations stay on the air, because we've seen this before in times of big disasters. A lot of people will jump to their phones all at once and they'll jam up the cell phone lines, and then your cell service doesn't work. But we don't have that problem with radio, and so we have things in place to make sure that we keep those broadcasts going, so it's a source of information in times of emergency. Now, besides just putting that on the air, we also try to utilize the technology that we have in hand too, with mobile apps and news sites and websites and things like that. But besides just in times of emergency, like we love working with our community partners. Like if the food bank has a food drive, we love to have them in and be on our radio stations, talk with our DJs or our news programs or other nonprofit organizations to talk about what they're doing, because we get it. It's not easy. The funding is not really there, and the manpower is not always there. And so if the community can help, if we can be a voice for them to get their word out, I mean, we love being able to do that. And we really feel it's important to how we connect to the community and how the community connects with us. We have to be vital to do that. Otherwise, we're just a jukebox. And there's plenty of options out there for people to just turn on music and let it go. But that doesn't have the community connection like what we try to build and maintain. That's really important to us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I personally enjoy all the talk radio that is there. So I think I wasn't aware when I first met you how many radio stations you actually have here. Do you want to share that with our listeners, how many you have?
Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of grown over time. It started as just one station, but we actually have 10 formats that we're producing out of these studios. From classic rock to classic country to the new music to sports talk and news talk. I mean, there's 10 different radio stations that we're managing here in Logan, and it's really fun. And we're not limited to that. There may be some opportunities for us to add some others. Spanish language we have right now. So we try to serve a lot of different people, because we understand not everybody loves the same stuff, and so we try to find things that appeal to the most of people, give them variety.
You know, as I'm thinking about your experience in radio and maybe what people might like to hear, something I'd like to hear is, tell me some interesting stories about some things that have happened to you, maybe on the air, or what's been unique or interesting that you can think about that you'd like to share.
Oh gosh, well, I mean, I've had my fair share of bloopers reading the news, and not being able to pronounce somebody's name right, or start laughing because somebody did something silly or stupid, and then I start laughing. I can't make it through the news story, and then people call the station like, "Oh my gosh, that was so funny!" Like I was embarrassed, or just to have random people call in, and not random people, but random calls that come in, but then realize this is a really significant person who's calling in on this topic because they were listening, and sometimes you can lose sight of just the impact that it's having, because we're just in a little room here. We don't realize how people are actually interacting with the show in real time. And sometimes you can lose sight of that, and then you get a call in or a text or a comment, and you realize that, this is, people are listening, and we got to be on our best behavior here, because they'll call us out on it if we're not.
That's actually brings up an interesting point, because Bruce and I have when we started, ample communication and question on who's listening. There is no way for you to track who's listening other than responses, correct?
Well, to some degree. I mean, we can see, streaming numbers and app activity, and so there's podcast downloads. So there's some things we can track, but it's not as trackable as some of the other things that are out there, but it is fun to get the response and know that, oh yes, people are listening, so I better behave myself.
Well, we have had our share of little faux pas on our show too. As a matter of fact, maybe at some point we'll do a show on that, because we have a whole blooper reel, and it's been 5 years or so of mistakes.
Yes, I've been archiving them for you.
Eric's been saving them. But I have to tell you my favorite little story of our bloopers, which Eric can take credit for this one, because
oh, I know what's coming now.
We were all doing our show, and for those of you who may not know, we record the show, and so it airs on Saturday morning, which is when you're listening to this, but that's not when we record it. And so we record it, and sometimes we make mistakes, and we have to go back and fix it, and that almost never happens, right, Sid?
Yeah, rarely.
Rarely, but occasionally. But anyway, on this particular day, somehow we get on the air.
Oh, yes. I didn't set the studio right. I think we were talking to a chiropractor.
I can't remember.
Yes.
And somebody comes running down the hall. It's like, we're trying to listen to the sports show, but somebody talking about chiropractic stuff. Like, oh my gosh. I was so embarrassed.
We've been on for like 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh. It was terrible. Yes.
Yeah, it was a minute.
It was bad. It was for a bit, yes.
Yeah, because that would cross our break and our just internal communications within the studio. So anyway, that's my favorite Eric Frandsen story.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him more pale in his...
He did look, if you could see him, he looks very handsome right now, and his skin is pink. That day he was still handsome, but the skin was not pink. It was pretty white, pretty pasty that day.
Yes, and we didn't let him live it down for a minute either, right?
No.
That was kind of funny. Well, we've talked about that big blooper. We have another segment coming, but again, I'd like to mention our sponsor really quick before we go into our second break. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about them, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you like us to switch things up and have fun people be interviewed like Eric today, you can give me a call personally at 435-512-6406. We're going to take a little break again. Stay tuned.
Whether you have a small business, large corporation, or sole proprietorship, remember Cook Martin Polson has provided quality accounting services since 1977. At Cook Martin Polson, they believe you've earned it, and they're going to help you keep it. Take a minute right now to call 750-5566. That's 750-5566 to set up your tax appointment and let Cook Martin Polson show you how to keep the money you have earned.
This is Jared Ripplinger with Cook Martin Polson. You've worked hard for your money. Let us help you keep it. You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty. I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
When it comes to successful aging, eating well matters. Staying physically active matters. Getting socially engaged matters. Living alone, aging alone, it's harder to consistently do that. Hi, this is Chris Grohl with Pioneer Valley Lodge, where we make it easier to do those things every day. Our mission at Pioneer Valley Lodge in North Logan is to help seniors live better, age more gracefully, and stay independent for as long as possible. Pioneer Valley Lodge, an independent living community for seniors.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you are just joining us today, we're talking with Eric Frandsen. He's the VP of Programming at the Cache Valley Media Group, also known as the local radio station, also known as KVNU and all the other stations. That
Radio Ranch is another
Radio
one.
Ranch,
Common,
yeah. There's all kinds of things down here that people would know you by. And people probably think that this is it, although we did talk about 10 formats, which means 10 stations.
Yeah.
10 different...
from Light FM to Q92 to Kix 96, 104 The Ranch.
And we're reaching not just in Cache Valley. That goes to Rich, Box Elder.
Right. Yeah. Our stations cover Franklin County, Cache County, Rich County, Box Elder County. So this kind of generally northern Utah, southern Idaho footprint, pretty well. We've got 10 stations that cover that pretty well.
Is there how does that work for someone like me who doesn't know? Is it like a circle where your reach goes, or how does that work?
Generally, the way that radio broadcasting works, it generally does look like a circle. The mountains kind of obscure that and make it a little funky sometimes with the way those signals work. But generally, if you draw a big circle and around Logan and maybe 20-25 miles in any direction, that's going to be a solid footprint for the areas that we cover.
I appreciate you sharing the story about your dad. I love stories like that. Starting in the radio and figuring out how to do his own station when he's 25 years old and making that work. And here he is now, and all you are down here, and you got 10 different channels that you're doing. But it's bigger than that.
Yeah, like I said, he started in Idaho, and he never really left Idaho, even though we moved here. But we have radio operations in southeast Idaho, based in Idaho Falls, that cover Idaho Falls, Rexburg, Pocatello, Blackfoot. We've got a group of stations there with the staff and the studios, just like we see here. And we have a group of stations down in southern Utah as well, based in St. George, covering Cedar City, St. George, in that area. A nice, beautiful building there that's not too old, that we renovated and moved into. So we've got partners and friends in other markets besides just here, which is great because it helps us kind of share resources and share ideas to make sure we're doing the best that we can and maximize the talent that we have too.
So what has changed changed over time? Because you've been in this half an eternity now, and for the listeners that have maybe never been to the station, when you come in the entrance, you can see some of the old technology. I guess some maybe even before your dad's time. But
right.
I'm kind of curious, other than technology, what else has changed over time?
Well, I think certainly there's been some rules that have changed. Before, you could only own 1 or 2 stations in any given market. And so that changed in the mid-'90s, so it allowed us to consolidate and bring more into one umbrella. I think, too, just how this radio has been able to innovate over time. I don't know that I own a radio in my home, but I listen to radio all the time. I listen to it on my phone, on a Sonos, on an Alexa device. And so there's still how radio is used and consumed has changed, but it's still relevant and still connecting with people. I think that's our biggest challenge, is to make sure we are relevant and that we are in those places, because it's the way that people use radio is different today than when my dad started, and so we need to make sure we're always trying to be in those spaces and be where people are. That's always kind of our mantra: be where the people are. Whether it's on their phone or a streaming device or an app or podcasts, make sure we're still there.
Right. And, I was thinking as you're talking about that, you're not the Cache Valley radio station or radio group, you're the Cache Valley Media Group.
Right.
Which means you are also involved in delivery methods outside of the airwaves, which would include the internet.
Yeah, each radio station has a website. We stream. We also have Cache Valley Daily, a site that we created about 12, 13 years ago to provide news and information to the community. And about that time, a little before we launched Cache Valley Daily, we used to be known as the Cache Valley Radio Group. And we had discussions like, we're doing more than just radio. Like, we host events. We do a big home and garden show every spring. We do a gift show. So we do a lot of other things besides just radio. So it was a conscious decision to change the name to Cache Valley Media Group, because it's more than just radio.
So, because that also has an effect on us. I know that I have people asking about certain subjects that we touch in our radio show, and we're really grateful that there is a podcast where someone can go and pull off an older radio show to get the information. Where would someone, because we're already coming up to the end of our show, what is the website that you go to download any or listen to any of the podcasts?
Yeah, well, good question. So KVNU, their website for KVNU is just kvnutalk.com. And the podcasts are there for this show, a lot of other shows like The Garden Guide, which is coming up soon here next on this station, other programs that this station hosts, or you can find them wherever you subscribe to podcasts. We push these out to a lot of different places where people can find them. So we try to make it as easy as possible for people to find us and be where people are. That's a big thing we're trying to do.
Wonderful. Sadly, Eric, we're at the end of our show, and I want to give you one more chance to mention the phone number for the front office in case somebody has a question or wants to book a tour.
Yeah, absolutely. 435-752-1390. That's 1390.
Thank you so much for talking to us today, Eric. We are at the end of our show. This is the Senior Moments Show. We'll hope you tune in again next week.